All right. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to. I'm gonna show you how to avoid that downfall that relationships experience after the honeymoon phase is over, and how to use that in order to solidify attraction, solidify love and affection through giving a guy space to fall. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do it. This is gonna be a very, very practical video that will give you guys the understanding about what it takes and what you have to do in order to use a honeymoon phase and not just dwell in it and not just enjoy it, but actually use it to grow your relationship. Now, for those who don't follow me on my social media, you guys can follow me on Facebook, right there, right? On my Instagram and on my Snapchat. And today we're gonna be using a board. And who am I today? No, who am I? No, I'm kidding. It's a joke. Those who get it. All right, let's get started. So the key to in the honeymoon phase, right? The reason why most honeymoon phases usually most relationships don't go past the 3-month period is because you guys exhausted. You guys exhaust each other through not giving each other the proper space to fall, like Robert Greene says. And so the key to giving a guy space is to allow the seed of interest and attraction to grow. Once you have that initial interest, which you have in the honeymoon phase, you can seed it with weakness and vulnerability and then take a step back. All right. So it's important to use absence whenever the guy has your attention and has some form of attachment, which is during the honeymoon phase. The taking a step back is to simply deepen the connection, not to hurt him. We're not hurting him or using any of the dark and manipulative tactics. This is just creating space. All right. So it's best to use it. It's best to use this later in the relationship, not during the first week or so, but when it has solidified and you guys are boyfriend and girlfriend, but you want it to be a little bit stronger. All right. So once he's gotten comfortable with you, or once you guys establish the patterns when you use this, it's important to realize that being around him once the connection is made makes him pull away. That's what tends to happen. Like you guys spending too much time together in the beginning, even though it doesn't feel like it's right. Initially, spending too much time does fuck it up. You just don't notice. That's why a lot of relationships don't go past the 3-month period. You want to instill some more interest through using the initial interest you have and not exhausting it, but actually using it as a resource to invest into the future. It's kind of like having money. You got to spend it or you can either invest it. Right when they feel like they have you, right when he feels like the relationship is at a fever pitch, right when he feels good about it, the subtle step back comes into play, all right? And I'm telling you, this happens because every single time you guys are in a relationship and you guys like the person and you feel like he's taking a step back, you usually become a little bit more attracted to them. All right. So you might either become randomly more emotionally unavailable, which is how I'm going to teach you, distant or a little bit bored. All right. So the reason why this will work is because once the man feels like he has you, it's a tendency to relax. You see, but when he feels like he's losing you, he'll arm himself with his sexual power or his tactics or his player mode, right, in an attempt to seduce you. You see, he'll chase you with anxiety and fear because the subtle coldness that you're going to portray and that you're going to display is going to actually make him think about you more. The more they work for you, the more they'll feel closer to you once you validate them. So you're making them feel as though you're pulling away subtly, not obviously, but subtly. And what's going to happen is that he's going to say, you know what, I'm losing her, so I need to do the thing that I got her, do the thing that got her initially, and attract her once again. You see, so once she does that, and you validate him through acting like he won you over again, he's gonna feel validated. He's gonna feel masculine. So the reason why guys feel bored in relationships is because the thing that he thinks he wants, which is certainty and comfort, lets him relax for a second, and then the thing that he feels like he wants, which is comfort, is the one thing that makes him lose attraction. Which is he gets too comfortable with you. He gets too familiar with you initially. And you don't want that initially. You want him to feel a little lost so that he can work a little bit harder. All right? So, but it's important that a lot of women fuck this up because they're not subtle with it. That's a problem. You see, you got to let him become his own source of pain you gotta let him become his own source of pain so that he generates his own thoughts of doubt whenever he's alone. You see, you want him to come home and he'd be like, you know what, something's off. I don't know why, but like, I have to put a little bit more effort in the conversation. Like, she bailed on me the last time. I mean, it's not like she's doing something crazy, but like something's just off, man. I miss her, man. I might have to hit her up. Hey, what's up? What you doing? Like that's what tends to happen. You see what I'm saying? And that's why you gotta create that distance, because it's only when you are distant, it's only when you are not in his presence that he begins thinking those things. It's only when you're not around him that he begins feeling that lack. And that's why a lot of women don't give guys that chance, where they have a perfect opportunity during the honeymoon period to solidify that attraction. They don't do it because you guys spend too much time together. You see, so how do you do this, right? Well, now, before I talk about that, a lot of women say guys don't appreciate them, right? Now, using this, doing this, making him feel like he's losing you, making him feel like he's losing you, like taking a little step back. You're not hurting him, you're just taking a step back, makes him appreciate and value you more. That's what's going to happen. For example, if you had a family member ever go to jail, or a family member ever get the threat going to jail, or a friend going to jail, when they come back, you appreciate them more, right? Because you almost lost them. So it's kind of like they came back from the dead, right? So how do you do this, right? You got to allow the guy to get comfortable initially. That's why you got that honeymoon period, right? You got to allow him to get comfortable, establish a pattern of behavior, acting and texting, wherein you consistently text him back in a certain way. You consistently act in a certain way, which is showing attraction, giving him affection. You consistently show that you're happy to be around him, right? And you consistently text him and calling at the same time, same rate, with the same kind of intensity, right? And then suddenly you take a subtle step back. Not from 10 to 5, no, but from 10 to possibly 9 or 8. You see, be less enthusiastic, less happy around them, less responsive, but do it subtly. It has to be a subtle step back. And mind you, don't be afraid if it's too subtle. It's okay. Guys will notice. You see, or plan a trip. For example, another way you could do this, or like it's like planning. For example, like planning a trip together, right? You guys plan a trip together, and then suddenly act cold, and then suddenly cancel. You see, for example, you guys are planning a trip, like, yo, let's buy tickets for this trip next week. Okay, cool. You guys in the honeymoon period, right? Suddenly he's like, all right, you ready to buy the tickets? You don't respond for like 2 days, or you're like, let me think about this. He's like, what do you mean? Just let me think about this. And you're like, oh, you want to hang out today? I'm a little busy right now. What? You're a little busy? Yeah, let's hang out some other time. And then the next day, hey, how about that? You know what? I don't think we should go. What? Yeah, I'm busy that weekend. For real? Yeah. And then the next day, you act warm. You see, so he's like, what? Boom, you come back. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like you're hurting him. So plan a trip out and suddenly act cold and then cancel. Don't make it so obvious though, you see, but let him fear why that's happening and see what happens. Because then he's gonna put more effort into the relationship. That's what usually happens. So when he says or does something that can be deemed, another way they can do this is that whenever he says something or does something that could be deemed as offensive, you see, you don't have to tell him initially, but you can initially act like, oh, I can't believe you said that, right? And then just act cold throughout the whole day, right? Or act cold throughout the whole night. Don't be mad, but just act a little cold. Take a step back and allow him to feel the loss for a day or two. For example, it could be anything. Like, for example, if he says that he was hanging out with that could be almost, for example, like with a short-term perspective, it could be when the guy texts you and he'll be like, hey, you want to hang out tonight? Like, what you doing? He texts you at like 12 a.m. at Friday night, right? Hey, you want to hang out? And you don't text him afterwards. And he'll be like, oh, fuck, why did you not text me? Maybe because I texted her, what you doing on the Friday at 12 a.m. Like, stuff like that. Like, act cold when he does something that can be seen offensive, so that when you're away from it, he thinks. So don't just do this instinctively, do this strategically, and just look for the little occasions when you can act cold, so that he might think that maybe it's his fault. And that's the point, that then he's going to try to reconcile what he lost through trying to impress you, trying to make you happy, and trying to get you validation. And then you reward that. You see what I'm saying? So that's one thing that, you do. Another one is if you friend zone him. For example, allow him to see that he has you, right? This doesn't have to be in a honeymoon period. This could be when you guys are talking and you guys are sort of dating and you guys are midway to becoming official and whatnot. And so you allow him to see that he has you, like, oh fuck, like, I think she could be my girlfriend, all that sort of stuff, man. I can't wait to post a picture with her so all my friends can see, and all that sort of stuff. And then right at the moment when he feels like that the relationship has shifted from friends to relationship, act cold. You see what I'm saying? But don't be mean about it. Just be friendly, but less sexual. That, like, I'm not saying act cold, like, don't text me, but just be less sexual. You see, less intensity, less sexualness, and then what's gonna happen is gonna try to amp up the sexual tension. You see? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, girl. So act in a sexual way, lure him. Another way is acting in a sexual way, lure him and orchestrate scenarios like Netflix and chill that indicates and invites him to make a move, right? And then suddenly stop him. Again, this is like not during the unright honeymoon period where you guys are in a relationship, but you guys are on that fever pitch. But rather, when you guys are dating, and you guys are about to be a relationship. When you guys are kind of dating, when you guys are dating, but you don't know how it is. You guys are just almost becoming a relationship, and then you orchestrate a scenario where he says, "Oh fuck, like we're hanging out again," blah 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 blah, and then you friend zone him, not through initially telling him we're friend zone, but through saying, "I don't think so. I think we should, I think we should take it a little bit slower." Like you take a step back. You see what I'm saying? And then you not just take a step back, but you act a little colder, less enthusiastic, and you don't text him as often, almost as though you're losing interest. That make sense? So you gotta let him feel as though he read your signals the wrong way. Wherein he was like, oh man, I thought we were going good together. What happened? Like, fuck, like this, we saw Netflix, I watched the things she wanted to watch. We saw Desperate Housewives, and now she's just not interested in me anymore. What happened? And then he's gonna work harder. You see what I'm saying? Then he's gonna go watch my other channel. Another way that you could do this is actually kind of true. And I was this guy one time. Have another male friend in your life. Like, guys hate male friends. Guys hate male friends, right? His mere presence will instill subtle jealousy. All right. So, for example, like I once had this girl who I was trying to talk to back when I first started going to college. And she was talking to me, and we would talk, and she would tell me about her boyfriend. And one day she brought him. We would always hang out before class, and then she brought him in and introduced me to him. Right? Long story short, nothing bad happened, but I remember his face. He's like, "Who are you? Who are you?" And in my opinion, that was an amazing tactic on her part, because I could promise you that ever since then they were a little bit closer, because she was like, "He's just my friend. He's just my friend." Every guy's like, I don't know about that. Trust me, I know what you're trying to do. So what tends to happen? It makes him want to keep her more. You see what I'm saying? It makes him want to work for her more. And that, I bet you money that worked, because they got married. I was helping relationships ever since that time, right? So that's what you got to do. Just have a non-threatening friend, because that's what I was. Even though I was trying to get laid, right? Have a non-threatening friend. What's gonna happen then is gonna try to reseduce you. You see what I'm saying? Have a non-threatening friend. He's like, he's just my friend. He's just my friend. Nothing's gonna happen. And that's what you do, right? So these tactics would allow you, stuff like this allows you to erase any negative thoughts that he has about you. You see, if you fucked up and whatnot, when the guy feels like he's losing you, it'll enable him to just focus on the good. It helps him forget the bad times and remember the good. And I'm telling you, but this is the thing though, is that I have to warn you, there is a caveat, which is don't use absence too early on in a relationship. You have to first have some form of, you gotta be, for example, you have the dating part, right? When you guys are dating, and there's a pitch in the dating, right? There's like a point where it goes up, and you guys are in a relationship, right? And once you guys are in the relationship, there's a point, there's a fever pitch in the relationship wherein that's the honeymoon period, and then there's another drop, right? So you use this tactic right at the top. For example, right when you're having sex, that's a fever pitch. You use it to pull away. You see, right when you guys are becoming a relationship, he feels like he has you, you pull away right there. Like, don't use it during the lows, use it during the highs. Right? Because it's during the highs, and you take it away, and you make him feel like that disappointment. It's an attack of his ego. All right. So don't take too much time as well. Don't use absence for too long. All right. Or he might meet somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So if you use absence, make sure to know that he has that there aren't any other options. So that's why you got to use it right when he wants you the most. So that if you use absence, he's still thinking of you because he has a strong desire for you. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think that makes sense, right? I think that makes sense. Yeah, that's how you do it. Anyways, this is Alex from mindfulattraction.org. If you guys want one-on-one coaching, get your ass to mindfulattraction.org/coaching the pocket or mindfulattraction.org/in-the-game coaching. I have monthly coaching where you guys will be able to access me on a daily basis. I have one-on-one coaching. I have email coaching, and also I'll be having a seminar in this room. I think it's this room, right? Or maybe the other one. But this is my WeWork office. We're gonna be having a seminar in New York City from the 8th to the 9th, and then we're gonna be doing a seminar in LA in August. I still have to put up the sign-up form, so maybe during the next video, I'm gonna be putting the sign-up form so you guys can sign up for that seminar, right? With that seminar, I'm gonna need a certain quota. I'm gonna need a certain amount of people to go so that it's financially viable, and so I don't lose money going there. You know what I'm saying? So I've never been a fan of LA. I've always liked San Francisco, to be honest with you. It's very early in the morning, so it looks like I just woke up. There's no one here. Look at this. I love being the first in the office. Look at that. I'm the first one in the office. Show these motherfuckers how to work. We work all day, all night, right? Anyways, it's Alex from mindfulattraction.org. I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys some other time, right? Bye-bye.